So what you want to do is this: shoot, right click, and then hook. So you want to do so that you want to sneak in that extra bit of damage. So again, if I'm this is what the scenario would be in game, right? So what I'd like to do for us to start is just to get to know you a little bit. Just, you know, as a person, as a player, just so that everyone. Are you okay with me showing your icon on stream, by the way, the Discord icon that you have?
Oh yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So that is SuperSingla's, everyone. Should I just call you Super for ease of access?
Yeah, that's good with me.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Super, if you could just tell me and anyone watching a brief description just of like who you are and why you kind of approach this coaching process with Jane.
So I'm 14 years old. I actually had no idea this program would be that big,
Mm-hmm.
but I started doing it, or I started playing because I enjoy it. So that's basically the main reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
And
Cool.
I'm
Yeah.
looking
Go
to
ahead.
I'm looking to climb and get good eventually.
Well, for sure. I think there's all. I mean, the fact that you're currently plat. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm like I kind of dropped 24, 40, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay. So you're currently in gold.
I've been hovering around that area, that range.
Okay. So high gold, low plat is kind of where you have been spending a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, what I was gonna say is that's still very good in the grand scheme of things. You know, if you're in plat, you're looking at sort of you're in the average-ish zone. But again, you're 14, so you got a lot of time ahead of you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential for growth. Basically, that's the great part about this. A lot of people are boomers like myself, and you know we've kind of reached our peak. You're still to come to your peak, so that'll be both SR and
I
gameplay.
hope so. I hope so.
Have you always played tank, or what kind of roles have you liked? I know you play a little bit of support as well, but what kind of has been drawing you to Overwatch in terms of roles and heroes?
So actually the funny thing is I chose tank because the queues are fast, but then
Fair.
but then eventually when I started doing it more and more, um I just started playing tank. And then I picked up support a little bit and I was actually very confused between the two roles and what to do and like
Mm-hmm.
which one should I choose for this program.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I thought about it and I think maybe tank is the right one for me.
Yeah, I mean it's a very important role. It's a role that's always going to be in demand. Like I don't see in the near future, anyways, of a world where Overwatch doesn't need more tank players. So
Yeah,
you're going
that's
to
true.
be
Yeah.
in high demand, and whatever your aspirations are, and I can ask you about that in a second as well. You know, you're always going to be, you know, people are always going to be glad that there's a tank around. What is your kind of goal with Overwatch or gaming, or you know, you're 14, so you don't have
Just
to have any set goals, but what do you kind of want
just to
out
do
of
it
it?
just casually. That's for the most part. Maybe just getting good. That's it. Just
Mm-hmm.
casual. Nothing professional.
Yeah, sure. No, that's fair, and I think that's yeah. I mean, going professional is very a very small number of people ever get to go there. So it's good that yeah, you're kind of. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason you couldn't, but we'll see. It's not like I said, it's not in everyone's reach, and it's better just to play to get better, and then if you happen to reach like top 500, then that's when people. This isn't just you specifically. I'm just talking to anyone who on stream who wants to ever go pro. It's not usually a good idea to be starting the game, be like, I'm gonna go pro, and you know you just stuck in diamond or plat or whatever. It's usually better to just play, get good, and maybe if you get top 500, you start thinking, okay, maybe I can go pro. So, if you could tell me what you think your strengths and weaknesses are.
Uh, so basically, sometimes I have these bursts of where I play like out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's say I'm playing two ranks above my skill
Mm-hmm.
where I'm placed. So sometimes I have those bursts, and I actually had one yesterday, and I don't know, I won every game. And
Mm.
but sometimes I become a robot, and then I stop thinking after a streak of bad games or something like that. So those are two like practical, like I would say, strengths and weaknesses. But on game size, on the game Overwatch side, I would think sometimes I understand what I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes I lose sight of that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
consistency is the main thing for me, and yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So there can be many reasons for why someone is inconsistent. The kind of ones that jump to mind are usually, it's almost always out of game. The only reason someone's inconsistent in game is if they don't really know how to play their hero. In that case, it's like sometimes you win a game doing one thing and you don't understand why you won that game, and so the next game you go into and you're just kind of doing something different, and the other team is doing something different, and you don't win because you're like, what? I don't know. I don't understand. So if you didn't understand in the first place, that can make inconsistencies. But I think the bigger reasons are usually um, inconsistencies in like mindset. So like you said, tilting or just playing like a bot. Just not thinking properly about what you're doing. It can also be inconsistencies in like how often you play, when you play. Like maybe you play when you're really tired and you're not playing very well, or you play like once a week, and every time you jump in the first 5 games you're like completely out of the zone, like you're not even ready to play, right? So it can be a variety of factors, and we'll try and kind of figure out what it is, and hopefully we can get you being more consistent, because that's when you really see climb, right? Like if you're consistently playing at a certain level, whether you win or lose, you're going to be one of the better players in the lobby. And that's essentially how you climb. Like you're not going to climb in your best moments, and you're not going to climb in your worst moments. You're going to climb when you're consistently better than everyone else in your rank. So that's where we need to get to. So let's look at, I think the first step, what would be a better, so I fully looked at your Volsky and your Eichenwald game. I was just looking at your Dorado game. I'm just trying to think for a second which would be more informative to look at. I think let's look first at the Volskaya game. That's longer, there's more for us to dig our hands into. So are you watching stream currently?
No, let me open it right now.
Sure. So yeah, you're probably going to want to open stream and then mute the Discord call. And then when I ask you for some feedback, you can just kind of pause the stream, or yeah, you can just unmute yourself and then chat to me when I have a question for you. But let's start before you meet yourself. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the comp. So can you at least see the screen and see the comp that you have?
I do. I can see it. I can see the comp.
Okay, so talk me through when you. Okay, well, for 2 things. First, I want you to try and tell me the strengths of this comp overall, and then after that, I'm going to ask you about your role in the comp. So first, just tell me, describe the comp you're running to me, and describe your strengths and your weaknesses versus the enemy comp. I'm just going to let it play out so we can see what the enemy comp is as well, but go ahead and tell me the strengths and weaknesses of your current comp.
Well, we have a very poke heavy comp with the Hawk and the Ash. The air comp is more brawl, so we will find more success through playing long ranges and spamming them as they come in.
Mm-hmm.
And my role is basically to get my Zarya energy and getting hooks on their overextended Zarya bubbles or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
And as well as spam Run Shield. So
yeah, I mean those are all correct things that you've listed. I just want to dwell a little bit on the strength of the double off tank versus what they're running, which is a very brawly comp. So you're right in that yours is a more pokey comp, and what we really mean when we say poke is the difference between a poke and a brawl comp. A brawl comp wants to get right up close, start shooting. Poke comps generally want to keep distance, right? So the first thing that should say to you is, I need to keep distance. I need to keep distance from their front line. Do you understand why? Like, why would you keep distance from their front line?
Because like their Rhine and Reaper can only do damage at close range.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Whereas your character can outrange them quite easily. Like your character has a much more significant range. Not a huge range, but certainly enough that you can be out of their effective range. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, yes, so your job, yes, is to get Zarya bubbles, but that's not your priority. Your priority right now is not really to get your Zarya energy. You will do because you're duoed with your Zarya and you want to help her out, but you're not a Reinhardt, right? It's not your job to face tank basically, because that's what the Reinhardt does. He face tanks, he gets the Zarya some energy, and then he gets his shield, and in that case, it's mutually beneficial, right? If the Zarya bubbles the Reinhardt, he can swing, which he can't do otherwise, because the way Reinhardt works is he has to have his shield up or swing. He can't do both. You're different as Roadhog. You can still, like, whether the Zarya bubbles or not, you're still doing damage. So you actually don't need her. She needs you for energy, but she can use anyone for energy. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Right? So, yes, you should help your fellow player out here and get her energy when you can, but it's not really your jobs. And particularly if you ever play without LO2 and you're with a Zarya who's not coordinating with you. And we'll talk about coordination as well, because there was a bit of lack of coordination with you guys here. But yeah, it's important to bear in mind that you're not a Reinhardt. And that's the theme of today's tanking, basically. You're not a Reinhardt. So you should be looking to poke at the edges. And what I mean by that is, again, you're avoiding their front line. You're trying to pick off anybody who's pick-offable. Who would that be in this comp that you're up against?
Probably the soldier.
And do you think you could maybe get at the supports as well?
Yeah, supports and Reaper. I can sometimes do the one-shot thing, but
Do you know how the one-shot works against the Reaper?
so basically, you hook, then you walk forward, and you have to like hit him in the face, and then melee.
Yes, but not that. That's unreliable for Reaper, basically. The better way is to shoot, hook, shoot. So, and that's just something you should do all the time with Roadhog anyways. In fact, let me see if we can get into custom lobby. It's still not, or a training range. It's still not, it's not perfect the way it works, but it's much more reliable than just walking forward and shooting, as I'll try and demonstrate here. So if you're just watching stream, I'm going to go into the training range. I'm going to pull out a Reaper bot. And we're going to test this out. So if you hook, walk forward and shoot, you will sometimes kill him. But that was easy because he's not moving, right? A real Reaper will move back and forth. So there's a possibility that you do something like this. Particularly if you aim for his head, you might miss. The one tip is aim for the neck, because more of your pellets will go into the enemy Reaper. So let me demonstrate again. So if we aim for the neck here, and that didn't quite pan out, a little bit higher than that, but if we aim for the neck, there's more pellet goes. So that's one principle. But again, it's really hard to consistently do this against a moving Reaper because this guy isn't responding. So what you want to do is this: shoot, right click, and then hook. So you want to do so that you want to sneak in that extra bit of damage. So again, if I'm this is what the scenario would be in game, right? I'm not going to be right up in the Reaper's face. I'm going to be a little bit away. So I'm going to right click, and you see I already took him down to half HP before I ever even hooked him. So that's how you sneak in. And this is true for any character. So again, this is something that's important for the Roadhog duel as well. So you want to shoot. So you see I've already taken him so much lower than otherwise I would ordinarily. If we kill him and then we just shoot, just hook shoot, that's the best I can do. Even if I walk forwards or anything, right? I can only do much less damage. Whereas, it can even be in close range. So if I'm right up with this Roadhog, shoot, hook, shoot. So I'm doing more damage. So does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely makes sense.
Okay, so that's just one principle to bear in mind for Roadhog play. Okay, so the first thing I want to comment on is just very minor, but do you see coming out of the spawn door, you can see that they're going right side. Is that correct?
I can see them.
So why do you hang around a little bit longer? And you see what ends up happening is, or let me put it this way. Can you tell me, it's very minor, but I just want to get a feel for your ability to kind of pick up this concept. I'm going to play this little clip out, and can you tell me what was suboptimal here? It wasn't like a huge mistake. What was suboptimal here? So I'm going to play it out, then I'm going to pause and ask you. Okay, so just that little passage of play. What was suboptimal from both you and LO2?
the bubble was bad.
Why was the bubble bad?
Because I was in a position where I couldn't do anything, or he couldn't get anything off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I gave the soldier some ult charge and missed a hook.
Yes. So, and they're all simple consequences of you basically hanging around too long. First of all, I mean, you kind of blew your hook there, because if someone walks out of spawn right now, you don't have a hook for another 3 seconds. So the minute you see them walking right side, that should be immediate panic stations to you. I need to get back here. What could go wrong? Wow, that's an interesting stance on the Roadhog. What could go wrong? Right, what ends up happening is the soldier comes out and he shoots you and gets some ult charge. What else could have gone wrong here if this was a different team comp you were up against? Because you don't know, remember, you don't know what's going to run out of spawn.
If they all would have been dead, or hooked me or something.
Exactly. If this Reinhardt is a Roadhog, he can hook you. Remember, LO2's has wasted his bubble, and that will happen. You're in low plat, high gold. If this is a Roadhog, you could die. If there's an Ana here, you could die. You could get slept and naded. If there's a Mei, you could get walled off. If there's a Far, you could get booped back. So again, just it's fine to peek and poke like this, but remember, the reason you do this is for information. So you're trying to figure out what do they have, and then you can adapt your behavior accordingly. The minute you see them run right, I want you to immediately turn and just go back, because you're not going to get a hook. But you kind of hang around, you get this 1-2 right clicks in, LO2 wastes the bubble, and then this soldier just gets some ult charge off you, and this could have gone much worse. Now, again, the other consequence of what just happened is now both of you have blown all your cooldowns. So the reason I stopped and pointed all that out wasn't just because I want to make you feel bad, is because now your friendly Zarya has no bubbles. She has no self bubble for 10 seconds, no friendly bubble for 4. You don't have hook or breather. So if anything goes wrong now, you guys have no response. You have nothing that you can do. So that's why it's these small mistakes, they snowball. So now let's see how you play this out. So this is a good hook on the Zarya. We're unable to finish, that's fine. Now, again, you're doing a good job of pressuring the Rein. I commented earlier on stream that that's a good value hook, what you did here. I do have a slide problem, but we'll get to that later. So this is a good value hook because, like I said, there's multiple targets this hook could hit. So even if you miss the first person you're intending to hit, you'll probably hit someone. So it's good to, as often as you can, to try and use abilities in situations like that.
I could have turned him around the truck, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's like, I don't want you to overly focus on tech. Like, that's tech, right? The Roadhog, what you're referring to is while you're hooking someone, you can turn them as Roadhog. That's great.
I can do it. I can do it pretty consistently. I just forget to do it.
Mm-hmm. And that's great. But right now, I'm not going to criticize you for not doing tech unless it happens to be for a very important moment. The bigger thing I want to focus on is the fundamentals. So, bearing in mind what we said about the comp styles, how they interact, how do you feel about your own positioning here?
Yeah, I don't think I noticed the Ryan walking around.
Yeah? And what else?
I think I'm reloading.
No, so it's just much simpler than that. Do you think that you could be too close here? So I'm gonna play it a little bit back one more time. So remember what we said about not getting in the range of the Reinhardt? Let's watch and pay attention to how frequently.
It's the same thing as the beginning, which I did.
Yeah, it's like watch with the frequency that how often the Reinhardt, the Reaper, and the Zarya are able to get within good range of you. So we're gonna watch it back one more time. So I'm gonna narrate this time. So Zarya beaming you. Obviously you hooked her, so she's able to beam you. Again, we're right up in the range of the soldier, the Zarya. The Reinhardt gets swings on us. When we back up, this is a good spot. This is a good position because you're far enough here that the Reinhardt can't get you. The Reaper can't get you. But then what do? After you get this kill, you're again in the Reaper's range, you're in the Reinhardt's range, Soldier's range. Your team mops up. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because this is going to be a problem later as well. We get too close. So let's watch the next fight and we'll see what we mean. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Again, so Once more, a bubble out early. And where's our positioning? We're right in front of this Reinhardt. Reaper drops on us. Now we have to turn and we have to vape probably. We're running frantically. Again, because we're in the Reinhardt's range. Look, he's going to start swinging on us. Reaper's M1ing on us. We're running. We're panic. We have to panic hook. We have to panic vape. This is unfortunate. It was a good idea to hook the Reaper. Again, I would shoot, hook, shoot though. But yes, it was a good idea to hook the Reaper. Because there was an opportunity there. But as much as you guys are winning this fight, do you understand purely positioning wise what's going wrong here?
Yeah, many things are going wrong. We both us two, me and Lotu, just left half our team alone. Yeah, I wasn't like helping. I wasn't peeling for them. None of us were helping them. So that's the major thing, I think.
Yeah, and again, with the double off tank comp, the way you as Roadhog are going to get value is you need to try and pick people off.
Oh,
basically.
and yet again, I'm too close, like you said.
Yes, yeah, you're too close. And so right now you should not be up here. I want you to be a few steps back. I want you to be back here. You're still right-clicking the Ryan shield. You're still pressuring him, but you're not within range. Because what ends up happening? This Reaper comes in. He's now doing damage to you, and it forces you to run. Right? It forces a bunch of resources out. Again, Low2 pops his bubble. So now he has no bubble. No bubbles at all. Your Ana's forced to panic heal both of you. And again, because you're focused on the front line, you throw this hook out on the enemy Ryan. What would now let me try and suggest an alternative. You should basically be trying to juke this Ryan. You're always trying to kite him. You're always trying to stay far enough away that he can never ever get a swing on you unless you really want him to. Unless you're happy for him to be within that range. So a better option is to go around the edges. And now look here, from here, I can hook the Mercy. I can hook the Soldier. Right? I can get this pick off the edges. So when I talk about play around the edges, this is what I mean. This is what I want you to do. I want you to forget about this Reinhardt. You can pressure his shield, but once he gets in like this, I need you to start trying to pick other people off. That is how you tank in the double off tank, by getting kills. Straight up. By just getting kills and applying pressure elsewhere. Because you're never going to win this fight. You're never going to win. Roadhog or Reinhardt Reaper is never going to lose to this Roadhog Zarya unless like some horrible misplay happens at this range. Right? This Reaper is always going to melt you. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, good. So let's play on then and see what else happens. I think, yeah, you guys win this fight quite comfortably, so let's move to the next one. And you guys get some nice cleanup as well. So, this is a very nice right click, by the way. Well done on that one. And again, I remember you, I think in your introducing your student video, I think you said your mechanics were like, oh, my mechanics are bad. But yeah, I think your mechanics are fine for the rank you're in, particularly. I think that if we focus on more of these fundamentals, that's going to be a bigger impact.
I think I was going off like a 1v1 arena, which is not too reliable.
No, not when you're a tank player. No, the 1v1 arena is great for DPS.
Other characters just besides the tanks I play, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 1v1 duel is a great warm-up mode, and it's great for DPS to practice because as a DPS, taking one-on-ones is often what you need to do. That's not what you want to do as a tank. Even as Roadhog, who is a pick character, you're still not trying to take fair one-on-ones. You're trying to take unfair one-on-ones. Right? That's always what you want to do. You want to get the drop on someone and hook them before they even know you're there. And same for any other tank. You're never really trying to get into one-on-ones. You're trying to get into favorable positions. So that the one-on-one mode doesn't help. It's not... It doesn't help as much as it should help, or as much as you would think it would help. Positioning, understanding your role in the team, these are much more important things for a tank. A question in chat was, is there a good way to warm up as tank or support? I just like quick play. Support, you can still warm up in mechanics. I just like quick play. And because as a support, you might need to take a duel as well. When a DPS gets the drop on you, you might have to duel them. So it's still valuable as a support to learn how to duel. But quick play is always helpful for me as a tank warm up. Now, see, this is a better kind of range you're in. You're not too close right now, but you're probably going to end up getting too close again. Low2 is wasting his bubbles. This is the right idea at the wrong time. It's good that you're trying to pick the soldier off, but you just notice, or to the right of your screen, you're going to see in a second, that the Reinhardt, the Zarya, the Reaper, they were ready to push you. So what ends up happening? As you go for this hook and you miss, the next second you turn, there's a Reinhardt in your face, there's a full energy Zarya in your face. So what ends up happening? You have to vape. And you have to whole hog just to survive. You get grabbed up, Reaper comes in over the top. The only reason you live here is because your Ana nades, or you live as long as you do, is because your Ana nades and she nanos low too. She nanos your Zarya. So that's the only reason both you live. Otherwise, you were both dead. And that just came from one simple positioning over extension, which is that you went a little bit too greedy for the soldier. But it's the right idea. Do you understand why it's the wrong time? The right idea, wrong time?
Yeah, it's just seeing a reoccurring pattern of me just being too close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Good. So what I always say to my students, Super, is it's always great if it's one issue recurring multiple times rather than 10 different issues occurring all in one VOD. Because if it's one issue recurring multiple times, if we fix it once, it'll fix for the rest of your entire gameplay, right? Whereas if there's 10 issues, then we got a lot to work on and we have to try and cram in a bunch of stuff. So if we can just, this is why I really wanted to focus on like the compositional stuff and your understanding, so that later when you get back into a game now and you're playing double off tank, you'll understand why double off tank is strong. And similarly, if you ever are playing Ryan Zarya and you go up against double off tank, you will understand better how to punish them, because if they ever get close, you'll know, okay, well, I can W on these guys. Now, I think we're going to end up doing the same kinds of things. So it's a recurring, I won't dwell too much more on it now if we just do the same thing. But I think that's what's going to end up happening. The Reinhardt on the high ground we haven't quite noticed. And he drops. So that was just a little bit of awareness. Do you remember if you saw this Reinhardt or not in game? Let me pause at the point.
I actually did notice that. I just ignored him for some reason.
Yeah, I guess it's just, again, a minor kind of issue where if you see him, it's always a good idea to just kind of keep a rough tab on him. And also just try and be a little bit closer to natural cover. So I want you to always kind of be near. The reason we're always near natural cover is when something goes wrong, it's a lot easier to get yourself out of trouble. Because you're kind of out in the open here, you end up getting slammed. But if you were 2 steps here, when this Reinhardt does this, you can probably respawn and get around the corner. So that's just a little bit unfortunate. You do survive for the time being. But again, same issue. We get right in the face of this Reinhardt and the Reaper. And we're lucky that our hook goes through the shield. But then the Reaper deletes us anyways. So I think you're looking for someone? Not sure. Okay. You're going up forwards. So this is better. So now you're trying to poke at the edges. And this is what I was saying on stream as well. I'm not sure why you end up going. You go a little bit too far back. Like this is, I don't get why you end up here. But this is the better area. Right? So this is much better. Because you're fine with the Reinhardt walking in. You want him to walk in.
I was looking for someone.
Yeah, it seems like you were looking for someone. It doesn't happen to be someone. Maybe you had a call out about someone behind or something. It doesn't matter. That won't happen again. This is the principles what we want to focus on. So yeah, it's okay if the Reinhardt walks in because you're not trying to fight him like in the face again. Remember, you're trying to pressure his shield, but at the end of the day, you want to get access to his backline. So letting him walk in like this is fine. Because this is what you want. This is perfect. This right here is prime hook territory. The BAP is walking in. He has no idea you're here. He has no cover. So, unfortunately, the problem is, again, because you haven't figured out the strength of your
I'm not sure if I landed, but I think I whiff.
I think, so what ends up happening, I think you go for the Reinhardt. That's the problem here. Okay, you end up getting, yeah, so you get too distracted by the Reinhardt, basically. It's because in your mind, you're still playing it like a traditional tank comp. You're trying to thinking, I need to beat my enemy tank. No, you just need to ignore this guy for the time being. You need to go and pick off his backline. So as he walks in here, you get this chance. This is perfect. You get this chance, but you end up turning back, and then you get a little bit distracted by the Reinhardt. You eventually get a nice hook on the Mura, but now that the Reinhardt's back, the opportunity's gone. He blocks it. So that's just, again, a simple case of understanding your role in this comp is you want to let the Ryan pass so you can hook his BAP and kill him. So I think your Brig basically just rallies and she's too strong. So you just end up winning the fight quite comfortably. Again, you see you're landing the hooks when, when the fight is more broken out. It's just about that patience of waiting for the hook as the entry pick, because that is where your value, that's where you carry as Roadhog. That's how you get major value, and that's when the people in the enemy team start complaining in voice chat like, oh my god, somebody deal with the Roadhog. It's because you're always back there, always picking someone off at the start of the fight. Now I want to kind of get your perspective. I'm gonna play this back, and I want to get your perspective on what you think goes wrong here for both you and low 2. Okay, what do you think goes wrong there?
3 things.
Mm-hmm.
Low 2 uses a bubble early, and his personal bubble early is really far extended out.
Yeah, let's watch this play out again. So yeah, that's one. So
And
there's one
the
bubble
same
out.
thing before. I hooked the Reaper early, even though I knew he'd blossom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he blossoms you here.
Not sure what the third is though.
Oh, I'm sorry if I said there was 3 things. I just mean what kinds of things are going wrong. So that's correct.
Yeah, you didn't say 3. You didn't even say 3. I just forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. So those are correct, what you've identified. What I would say again, speaking compositionally, you guys basically try and fail to fight front up again. So watch what happens. So they go to the high ground. Okay, but you don't need to fight them here. If I was you, what I would do is I would get here now. What can the Ryan do to me? Nothing. What can the Zarya do to me? Nothing. But here, I'm a massive threat. Because they know that the minute they drop down, or the minute they go towards point, which is where they want to go, right? Remember, their goal at this short range comp is we need to get on the point so that we can put the pressure on them and make them fight us at short range. If you're here, they cannot do that, because the minute they go past you, you're going to start hooking their backline left, right, center. So by being here, this is how you tank as Roadhog, essentially. You're creating pressure at a point where their tanks can't deal with you, and they have to send someone to deal with you, and you can usually one-on-one them as Roadhog. That's the nature of this hero. What ends up happening? Both you and low 2, you just back up the point, which is exactly where they want you to go. There's a soldier tac vising that you guys don't quite realize. Neither of you really responds to it. And you see, so you retreat to point where they want you to be, right? They want you to just kind of sit back on the center of point, because they're always gonna win this 1-on-1. They're always gonna win this 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 or whatever it is. You have no shields, right? You have no protection. They have brawl, they have shields, they have their healers in a better position. Your healers just died, bear in mind. So at this point in time, it doesn't matter if you're the most insane hog player in the world, they're gonna win this fight. And yes, your hook, if you had saved for the Death Blossom, would have been good, but again, if you get the hook combo off, you kill this Reaper, and he never even gets a chance to Death Blossom. So I'm okay with you trying to hook him, but you have to get the kill, basically. If you want to win this fight, you have to get a kill at the start of this fight. That's how it works. If you want to make a difference in your ranked games, you have to go and get a kill right now. Your Brig has died. Right now, I need you to go for this hook. I need you to go around the corner. I need you to hook this back with this Mora, or I need you to respond to the soldier. I need you to hook him and kill him, because you're not going to win the straight up tank fight on point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I was confident I could kill the Reaper, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, and in that case, that's fine. Like, you didn't execute it. No worries. With practice, you'll get it right. You'll get it right next time. So do not worry. Like I say, it wasn't a terrible idea. It would have still worked if you'd executed. It's just unfortunate that it didn't pan out. Now, we're gonna look at the Reinhardt play. So, what's good about this is we've established now the Roadhog things that you're doing. I wouldn't say wrong. They're just not. They're not optimal, right? You're not like inting. You're just not understanding your role and how you can be most effective. Now we're gonna look at Reinhardt play. So hopefully we're able to give you perspective on all the tanks that we get to see. So now, talk me through again, when you are playing Reinhardt, you see their comp. What's running through your mind? What are the kind of things you're trying to bear in mind?
So their soldier and Ash will be on off angles pressuring us, and we're mirroring them, so we have to brawl as well.
Okay, yeah. And what is the sort of, what are you looking at as triggers for going in and out, or, you know, swinging on the Reinhardt or backing up? What are the kind of things you're looking for?
Bubbles, if they use bubbles early.
Yeah, good. So, looking at your support lines, they have a Mercy who can damage boost their hit scan, so that makes them more strong. But you guys have double main healer, so you have more sustain in the fight. You both have Zaryas, so obviously when a bubble comes out, that's very important. If they waste their bubbles, that's your go signal. If you waste your bubbles, you need to be more passive. Again, if one of you had a Lucio, that would make a difference because that makes it easier for your team to get in range of their team quicker. And obviously stuff like picks, stuff like someone being out of position, these are again triggers for going in. Or if your team gets picked, you go back. So with all that said, remember that as we watch this fight play out. So your bubble comes out, like your friendly bubble's out now. The enemy Rein has a bubble, so you back up. Good. Your shield is very low though, so should you be going further in? To save time, I'll answer the question. No, you know the answer as well. No. Look at the kill feed. You've lost 2 supports. You have no healing. You have 300 shield, and you're still going in. So already off the bat, you need to recognize much quicker as Reinhardt. Okay, well, I lost my supports. I don't have shield. This is not the time for me to go in. Thankfully, you don't die in this fight, but you could have done, and your team could have been punished. So just an early little exchange there. So we go back in. Ashe on the high ground where we get a bubble. Okay, we can swing a little bit. Good. But again, remember now, you have just used your bubble and you haven't seen them use their bubble. So you have to be very careful. For the next 8 seconds, I think, or it should be like now down to 6. Yeah, 6 now left. You can't go in yet. You can't swing on the Reinhardt. What do? You fire strike as he's bubbling and then you get into swing range as he's bubbled. So you... And again, it sounds like we're focusing on the minutia guys here, but look at the consequence. The consequence is Super is now half HP. The enemy Rein is full HP, basically. Their Zarya is super high charge. So their Zarya is 47. Still pretty good. Low 2 is actually very high charge, so he's done well for himself. But Super is being pressured out here, basically. He has no resources. He has no bubble coming for him right now. He gets killed, and the lamp still comes out. So even if this lamp lands... That's a wasted cooldown that the BAP didn't need to use. Like, Super didn't need to go in there. But as it is, it's the worst of both worlds. Super dies and the lamp comes out. So do you understand how the sort of small thing of not paying attention to the bubbles costs you there?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm not a main tank player, so so I don't know that.
Okay, well, I think, do you switch to Sigma soonish? I think at some point you switch to Sigma in this game, but we'll see when that happens. But if you're ever forced to play the Reinhardt, this is something to bear in mind. If you feel like you're not going to play a lot of Reinhardt, we can skip the Reinhardt gameplay and go straight to the Sigma. It's your call.
I think you can skip it. You can go ahead.
Okay, so let's skip ahead. Okay, so then again, we need to talk about Sigma and how Sigma fits into the meta. So, once more, I know this is annoying, but I think it's important. Tell me what's your role gonna be as Sigma in this comp versus their comp?
Maybe blocking the heals out, blocking cooldowns, and shield the team.
Okay, so that's quite vague. I want to try and I think it's gonna show in your gameplay in a second. What is Sigma? Okay, let's frame it this way. What is Sigma good at compared to Reinhardt, and what's he bad at compared to Reinhardt?
He's good at poking because his orbs have range, but he doesn't have that much shield compared to Rein.
What else?
And he can't brawl like Rein.
Yeah. So yeah, the range, we've got the range element of it. Sigma's long range, Reinhardt short range. At long range, Sigma pokes. At short range, Reinhardt wins. What else? And we kind of spoke about the shield as well. What's different about Sigma's shield? Obviously, it's less HP, but what's one benefit of the Sigma shield versus the Rein shield?
He can place it wherever he wants to.
Yeah, exactly. He can throw it out. He can throw it far away from himself at different angles. And is there any other thing, looking at the rest of their kits, that Sigma can do that Reinhardt can't do? And looking at their ultimates as well.
I can eat the graph. Is that what you're saying?
In this specific comp, yes. But what is it? So how do you eat the grab?
Oh, I have a grasp compared to Ryan.
Yeah. So the reason that Sigma became meta in double shield is because obviously one is the shield, and his shield is very good at contesting people far away, right? Hit scan or someone like that. So right now, Ashe and Soldier, these would be perfect people for you to shut down by just throwing a shield in their face. But also he's very, very self-sustainable, because not only can he constantly kite with his shield, he also has his grasp to eat, and he can eat damage and regen shields. So compared to a Reinhardt, if he doesn't have a shield up, he's getting slapped. He's much more dependent on others to help him if he doesn't have a shield, or if people are pressuring him. And obviously, the other thing we haven't mentioned is your accretion, your rock. You have a stun, right? You can stun people, you can displace people, you can interrupt key abilities and key cooldowns, or you can use it as a way of like bursting someone down quickly. So you shoot some rocks at them and you immediately, or you shoot your left clicks at them, you immediately rock, another left click, it'll kill pretty much any squishy. Speaking of ultimates, your ultimate is obviously, in the current state of things, potentially more impactful, right? You can lift multiple people up and do a lot of damage to them. It also is something that allows you mobility. So for all these reasons, basically the conclusion we're trying to get at, and the reason I'm kind of making this long lecture that you might be tired of, is you are a much more, again, similar to Roadhog, you're not going to win the straight up tank fight. You're an off tank, basically. You're looking to poke at the edges, and you're looking to shut down their DPS, and you're looking to get kills before you go right up into the face of the Reinhardt. If you just walk up in his face, he's going to swing on you, he's going to kill you, he has a better shield, he has better protection for his teammates, he's going to win. So you need to bear those things in mind as you come up to this. And again, the important thing to note is that your shield is not like a Reinhardt shield. It is not there to block damage. So this is one thing I want to kind of explain to you. It's not there to block damage. It's there to block key cooldowns or key damage. It's not just there for you to throw out. The way the Reinhardt is like, as long as I'm holding my shield, I'm doing something because someone must be behind me taking this damage. Your shield has way too low HP. 700 is not enough to actually block poke spam, because it will just melt. That's like a Hanzo storm arrow and then like a little bit more, right? That's gone. So what you need to be thinking about is this needs to block enemy hit scan, or flankers that I can't deal with close up, or key cooldowns. So a good example is a Roadhog hook. It's the perfect thing, or an Ana nade. These are things you want to bear in mind and block. So we'll talk about specifics as we get into it, but that's just the principle I want to spell out before we go in and watch this ourselves. So notice how you're treating your shield. You're like throwing it up, instantly back, throwing it up. But what are you blocking, right? That's my question to you. At this point, what are you really blocking? Just some Zarya right clicks, the Reinhardt swinging on it. Now you're in the Reinhardt's range. You rock into his shield. Again, you're in his range, you throw a shield up. Once more, as you're eating, you're in his range, right? And again, you're just throwing the shield up over and over. It's going lower and lower, and at no point have we blocked anything significant. Meanwhile, there's this Ashe up here who's dueling your BAP. Your BAP wins, thankfully. Later he will lose. There's a soldier on the high ground there who, if we look at his POV, he has free reign over your team, right? Your shield is not like bothering him really. He can do whatever he wants. He can shoot the BAP. He can kind of free fire wherever he wants. At no point has your shield kind of come his way and forced him to displace. So you know, there's a temptation when you see something like this to focus on the execution of abilities and to think, well, I didn't land my rock. Oh, my left clicks aren't doing damage. Oh, my eat didn't get enough value. The reason all of that is happening is because you're playing Sigma like Reinhardt. You're just walking in the face of the enemy Reinhardt and expecting something to happen. It's not going to happen because that's not what your hero does. So I'm going to play this back one more time. I'm going to talk through it again, and then I want to get your feedback on it. So again, we throw our shield out. We're just blocking Zarya, right clicks. We get right up in the face of this Reinhardt. He starts swinging on us. We go half HP. We're trying to rock again. If we try and throw this rock at the soldier or the Mercy at the edge here, that's impactful. That's like, okay, well, the soldier either gets a huge burst of damage, or at the very least he has to reconsider his position. If you hit the Mercy, you might actually kill her, which would be huge. Instead, if you hit this Reinhardt, he's got a Zarya bubble, he's got a Moira coalescing behind him. Even if you stun him, you guys don't have any follow-up stuns. Like, you can't chain stun him, right? This isn't like flashbang into hook into anti-nade. You're just gonna like stun him once and then he's gonna be fine. So it's not even gonna get you value. What you're trying to do isn't gonna get you value, and that's the theme of what I want to try and point out here. Again, you're right in his face, and you're trading with him damage for damage. He's gonna win that fight all day long. He's just gonna swing on you, he's gonna get ult charge. You're getting almost nothing, you know, because he's getting pocket healed all the time. Forces out your Bab's immortality field. Both you and Low 2 are right in that range again. And you're just all the time, you're losing this fight all the time. You get a slam, comes down, Low 2 gets killed. You're left chasing, you're gonna die. Because again, why? Because they're just gonna win the tank fight. So the solution is to not just walk up in their face. Solution is to avoid the direct fight until it's favorable for you, until you've got that advantage that you're looking for. The pick, someone on low HP, someone anti-nated, someone, you know, vulnerable. That's when you go in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I have a question. If you focus on the soldier on high ground, what do you do for the front line? Don't you get damage?
Again, you're not trying to, you shouldn't be in his range right now. So that's what I'm trying to get at is, all right, let's go back. Okay, so let me watch it back and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So first thing you should notice is Sigma. Oh, there's an Ashe up there. Maybe I can get on this thing. Push her off. You don't, right? Because that's your job. You're gonna be much better at contesting her than contesting this Reinhardt. So first thing is, okay, can I kill this Ashe? If I can kill this Ashe, then I can go in. You don't, right? You're not focused on her. Your BAP gets the kill in a second. So that's nice. So now that gives you room to go in a little bit deeper. And what I want you to do is just basically, again, poke at the edges. So poke at this Mercy. This is great what you're doing right now. Keep poking her. What do you do? You walk right into the face of the Reinhardt. No. Stand back here. Again, you can remember the hyperspheres do splash damage. So from over there, if you're shooting her, you're still pressuring her, right? You're still pressuring her. You're forcing her to either cut her healing from the Reinhardt or come fly the other side. Both of which are bad for her. Again, you're getting in the range of the Reinhardt. If you throw your shield past the Reinhardt onto the soldier, he has only one choice. Either spend all his time breaking it, or he has to rotate. Either is a win, right? If he spends all his time breaking it, he's not damaging your team at all. If he runs, he's in a worse position than where you wanted to be. But again, what are you doing? You're shielding all the poke damage, and you're in the Ryan's range, right? So again, I just don't want you to be here. Don't be right in his face. Be at the edges. Poke. Get that damage in, right? Wait till the pressure is too much for the enemy team to handle. Even go all the way around. You can go all the way. If you go all the way here, what happens? The enemy Mercy has to fly away. She has to. And that's another way of taking space, right? Taking space is not just I W on the Reinhardt and I slap him, and if I slap him enough times, he has to back up. Taking space, like I said, if you do this, same idea with Roadhog. If you go around, okay, well Mercy, you can't go here anymore. Now she has to fly away. And now because you're here, the enemy Reinhardt has to back, right? He can't just... If he stands there and you're there, you're going to get free fire on his backline. So now he has to back up. Now he's backing. Now you have more space. Your entire team has more space. You walk in. Okay, I can start spamming the soldier now. He has to back up. He has to run away. If the Ryan comes to me, so let's say the enemy Reinhardt walks up all the way to the right here. Now your team has space back there. There's no one protecting this angle. So now your team gets to poke here. So don't hard commit. What you're doing right now is hard committing. What you're saying is, I'm either going to kill this Reinhardt or he's going to kill me. But I don't want you to do that yet. I want you to just keep poking, keep doing damage until you have that significant opening that lets you go in, get multiple kills, make big amounts of space. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense for me.
Okay, good. So yeah, you just kind of don't hard commit. Again, do you know the difference between a hard dive and a soft dive? I know this isn't a dive comp, but do you know the difference between a hard dive and a soft dive?
Yeah, I think a soft dive is just where Winston wants to get some ult charge, but then a hard dive is like with the whole team comes with him.
Sort of. It's not about ult charge. So the reason, so soft dive. So let's say, for all intents and purposes, that this is where the entire enemy defense is set up, and I'm a Winston and I'm attacking from here. A hard dive is I jump here, and I'm trying to kill all these guys. You know, whether my team comes with me or not, I'm trying to kill them. Like, either I die or they die kind of thing. It's like a commitment of all your cooldowns. In I go, and I really want to stay here, and I really want to win this fight. A soft dive is I jump up here as Winston. I'm poking, I drop my bubble, but I don't want to stay here for very long. The only reason I'm up here is to make space. So what would be happening while this Winston soft dives? He would jump up here, he takes everyone's attention. Meanwhile, his team just runs past and they get point. So that's how you take space, right? All the Winston's gonna do, he's gonna jump up, bubble, zap, zap, zap. The minute he feels actual pressure, he's gonna drop. He's not gonna actually stay there. He's like, I'm not actually here to win the fight. This is a tactical jump. This is just for space and time. And that's how you break points like Horizon, which is now gone. But when they're all up on that platform, a lot of people make a mistake of they just jump up there and they're like, well, I have to kill someone now, or that's my job. But you jump, you just buy enough time and distraction for the rest of your team to go from under, and you've done your job as a tank. So what you're doing right now is you're basically hard engaging. Whereas what I want you to do is soft engage. I want you to just pressure, pressure, pressure. You're just trying to pull the Reinhardt from here to there. You're just trying to pull him from here to there. You're trying to make him get into a position he doesn't want to get into. See, right now you're going right up in his face. I just want you to poke. I just want you to wait until your team is in a better spot, until you're in a more favorable engage. Okay, so let's head to the final fight. Here we come. Again, see the soldiers on the high ground? If you throw your shield at... The benefit of throwing your shield right up at him versus throwing it in front of you is that there won't be other poke damage. So the Zarya, you don't want the Zarya to hit your shield. If the Zarya hits your shield, that's bad because you're not trying to block her damage, you're trying to block this important damage. So you throw the shield up at him and you're not eating a bunch of the poke that other people are doing. And you zone him out effectively. This is good that you realize that the Ashe is here. But unfortunately the soldier's still poking away at you, still poking away. And now because it's panic stations, you know, you have to run up on point. You don't have any shield left, you wasted your cooldown earlier. It's a whole mess, so we won't fuss too much about that because like I said, that's a last fight. Last fights are often like that. What would you prefer? Are you in a good state to go for another VOD review? Are you a bit like mentally exhausted? Because I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you. So I want this to be, you know, you're equally in charge here. If you want something, you let me know. So do you want to VOD review another game, or do you want to chill and call an end to the session, or do you want to go play some ranked? What would you like to do?
I think I want to do the Eigenwall game. That was really rough.
Great. Okay. Well, yeah. There's definitely a lot to speak about here, and again, we'll get a good picture of Zarya as well, and what can be going well and badly on Zarya. So once more, we have to do it. What is your comp versus their comp? What's going on?
We have Brawl, and plus we do have aspects of poke with Zen and Hanzo.
Yeah, so mostly same comps, very minor differences, which is you have a Reaper, they have a Torb. The Torb can do more damage from long range, but obviously if the Reaper gets up close, he can burst. So that's about a net same. It's just it just means you guys have to get closer than they have to. And they have double main heals, which means that they have more sustain, but you have the Zenyatta, so that also adds to the damage equation. If you discord a target and you shoot them together, he's going to die a lot quicker. So for example, in the Rein mirror, if their Rein has a discord on him and your Rein doesn't, even if it's equal damage coming in from both sides, you're going to win the fight. So it's you know, it's basically even. You just need to get closer. Again, what's your job as Zarya? You're trying to bubble your Reinhardt. You're trying to be the main off tank damage here. You're trying to really get to high energy and do damage. So let's see how that pans out. Okay, so how do you treat your bubbles? Like, what is your priority in bubble usage? When to bubble, when not to bubble? What is a good amount of charge?
In the beginning, usually I bubble to get energy.
Mm-hmm.
But I do save my allied for my other people in the team. I hold that for longer.
Yeah. So.
And specifically, if they have a hog, I do try to save bubbles for that.
Okay, good. Yeah, so what I would say is, again, the principle is, this is kind of like, this isn't a hard and fast rule. This is what I like to say. I say the first 3 bubbles are free, basically. You can throw the first 3 bubbles out however you want, because these are the poke charge bubbles, basically. This is what, you know, both Zaryas is going to be very aggressive with their early bubbles, because you just want to build as much charge as quickly as you can. So the first 3 bubbles you can use as liberal as you want. I will not mind. Within 3 bubbles, you should ideally be 60 charge. Once you get to 60 charge, you need to stop using bubbles off cooldown. Now you need to be more careful, because now you're not going to use bubbles for charge, you're going to use them as ways of making space. But yeah, once you get to 60 charge, that's a healthy amount, that's enough to do damage. That's when you need to start being a bit more careful. So let's see how you're going to play it. So, one bubble's out, second bubble's out, great. You're 69, which is nice amount of charge, 73. So at this point, you do not need to bubble off cooldown anymore. You can now be very careful, only bubble to protect a teammate or give your Reinhardt the chance to swing, etc, etc. So, let's see how it plays out. Now you've lost the Reaper, so you need to poke and you need to wait, which is what you're doing. Great. Now, see what you do? You walk up, you kind of just bubble. It's not horrible. This one is fine. I'm okay with this one. But the theme here is you walked up, you bubbled when you were already pretty high, and now you don't have a bubble and they're pressuring you out, and you see they take you down to very low HP. And all these things have consequences. You see, you go down to 34 HP, you almost die because you basically were just bubbling for charge when you didn't need to. So here, look, you step out of natural cover, you don't get as much from the bubble as you were hoping for. And then, you know, you're panic bubbling your Reinhardt. He doesn't even need the bubble right now. The bubble's going to force him to get out into the open again, you see? You force him to get out in the open when he didn't want to be, and you almost die. So, again, if I focus on the minor things, it's because these all have snowball consequences. You didn't need to do it, but you get away with it. So now you're 88 charge. You definitely don't need to bubble anymore right now. You're just waiting for the right moment to push in and use the bubble as a space-making tool. So when I say space-making tool, when you have the bubble, you can walk out aggressively knowing that, okay, well, I can take a good amount of damage. So I can be a little bit out of position. I can chase a little extra greedy for the kill and get it. SVB, why not go for close to 100 charge for using tactically? Because you won't always get the luxury of waiting for 100 charge. Like, think about it this way, Sir Critic. And again, maybe this is a question you have as well, Super. If you're sat there waiting for 100 charge, maybe you don't get it for like 6, 7 bubbles. And then you're just a useless character because you're just waiting for your charge to build and build and build. Whereas you want to be using, as quickly as you can, you want to be using the bubbles to allow your teammates to take space. Because that's how you're, you know, impose yourself in a game of Zarya. Obviously, when you're using those bubbles to take space, you will still get charge from them. But you're not just using them off cooldown for the hell of it. So, now look, your really high charges is great. But once more, what do? You bubble just for cooldown. You bubble just for charge. And now, you have to back up. Now you're waiting. Instead, what I would suggest is you could be on this side, and you could be poking them. Now, when you're poking them with 80 charge, you're going to melt this Reinhardt shield. So he has to either back up, or break his shield and be a sitting duck, or he has to come close to you and try to fight you. If he comes close to you to try and fight you, now you have a personal bubble. Now you can afford to take swings from him. And again, you're going to be burning him all this time, so he's going to be in a losing fight. And that's, again, as an off tank, that's how you off angle, that's how you take space. By not necessarily just being right back here and in the face of everyone, right? Now your Zen's gonna get pressured, he gets killed. But again, if you're there, he can't, the enemy Reinhardt can't do this. He can't walk past you at 80 energy while you are beaming his already low shield. Let's look at his shield HP. 200. You melt that in a second. I think Zarya is like 120 charge. Like, what's the max DPS? It's like, it's over 100. So you're gonna melt that within, like, you know, if other people are shooting as well, within a second. So he can't do that. But because you're not there, you're not applying the pressure, they walk in. Now low 2 has to go in, he goes aggressively, he makes a mistake, he dies. Thrawn gets a nice pick. So again, at this point, if I'm you, I'm thinking I'm 80 charge, and they have one less healer. So I can, the minute we're all back, we push, I can get loads of damage in. Again, you just kind of, you're bubbling without your team being around. It's just you and Thrawn. It's just you and Thrawn. And once more, because you're out in the open, because you weren't patient, you weren't sitting back and waiting for everyone to regroup, Nano Boost goes out, and it gets almost no value. All it does is heal you, if we watch this back. So again, you walk in the face of the Zarya to get energy from her. It forces Thrawn to bubble, to nano you. The Reinhardt just blocks it all, and your ult charge is 64 right now. And by the end of the nano boost, it's 65. Now, imagine that same nano boost now, when your team is actually here, the enemy Reinhardt is slept, and you are doing twice the damage you're doing right now, right? So now that opportunity is gone, and the Reinhardt gets away with his positioning error. So that's one aspect. Does that aspect make sense before we go into other aspects?
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, I don't know why I was Danoed. I was pretty healthy.
Yeah, your Ana panicked, but that's Thrawn's mistake. But again, in solo queue, people will make that mistake, right? Or in gold and plat, people will make that mistake. So as this Rein charges in, you are a little bit confused, I think, in your positioning, because you start tunneling on him very hard, and you're like way away from your Reinhardt. The play here, I would say, this is not something I necessarily expect from you at low plat. The play here is to walk in front of this Reinhardt and bubble, so that you're cutting off his heals and you can DPS him. So instead, you see he gets all his healing, he gets a nade, he gets help from his team. If you were there cutting his heals, you wouldn't get that. Also, a minor thing is that your bubble ends up going on your Ana, but that's accidental, and that will happen to the best of players. So if you look here, the bubble goes to Thrawn and not Low 2. If Low 2 has the bubble, he can probably swing on his Reinhardt and win that fight. As it is, he ends up getting anti and he has to back up. So always a snowball. It's always a snowball, right? You didn't get to take advantage of their Moira dying late because you guys weren't in a good position. You're on a panic nanos. You're not able to get any value out of it. And then because you're out of position in the second fight, you don't get the pick on the Reinhardt who was killable. He was asleep. And now you have to back up. So again, you get a nice pick on their Moira. You get a kill on both supports. But what ends up happening? Let's have a look. Yeah, your team just gets messed up by the enemy tank combo. And again, so what the enemy Zarya does, this is the benefit of when you're a high charge Zarya, you can just bully people. So now look, she gets an Ana boost. One kill on the Hanzo. She grabs. She's gonna kill another 2 people. And she kills you. So that's the difference between a nano boost and an engagement at the right time versus a sort of a messy nano boost and a poor engagement. Now let's look at the next fight. So again, now the annoying part about dying as Zarya is that you have to start again with your charge. Good night, Fenya. See ya. You have to start again with your charge. So now you're okay to bubble for energy, except there's a Nyala Transcendences. Right, so this is fine. The first ally bubble is fine. Unfortunately, again, I guess because you're not communicating, Low 2 doesn't drop his shield, so you don't get as much charge as you could. But now that your Zen is transcendencing, I don't know why he's transcendencing. This baffles me, but he's doing it, so you have to go along with it. There's no need to bubble now because you're getting a transcendence. You accidentally block the shatter, I think. No, you block it for yourself, but not for your Ana. But that's neither here nor there. The transcendence is going to get you through past the molten core, and then you can bubble to stay longer in the fight. You bubble early, and now you don't have that bubble for later, so you end up panic grabbing, and that's just a lost fight basically. That one, again, so the reason I sympathize with you is that when games are going badly, they tend to go very badly, right? Like when a game is going like this and when your teammates are messing up left, right, center, it makes it harder for you to make a good play because the game becomes messy and everything that's supposed to be the sequence of events becomes like clouded. But yeah, that just sort of a minor mistake of first the bubble was unnecessary and then the grab was just a panic. So again, I don't blame you, like it happens to the best of us. If it keeps happening, then we need to worry about it. But right now, one panic grab, we're not gonna blame you about it. We're not gonna sit here and go on about it. Okay, so now we're back to Sigma play. So remember what we spoke about in the previous Full Sky game. Hopefully it's all gonna come back here. So let's pay attention to how you're treating your cooldowns again.
I'm already looking forward to that.
Okay, so this time, what's great is you did not just face tank with the Reinhardt. I think if you were playing like you were playing in Volskaya, you would have gone here. Instead, you've done the right thing. You're trying to poke these guys out. This is exactly who you should be pressuring, because these guys cannot just like easily deal with you. The only problem is if we go back a second. The only problem is what happens here. You're about to hear. the Reinhardt grunt. I don't know if it's too audible on stream because the volume... Let me turn the volume up a little bit and then I'll play it again. There, the grunt noise coming in your direction. So that has to let you know that there's a charge coming somewhere in your way. Unfortunately, you don't realize. So the Reinhardt are pushing you back.
I think it was the same time I was doing my rock. The sounds the same.
Right, so you got... Okay, and that's okay, that happens. Like, these little things, like, you will miss sometimes. But again, that was a little bit of a giveaway. But, we're okay, so we're still in the fight. We get nano boosted again, I'm not sure why. The fight is lost. So at this point, the best we can hope for is to get a kill and get out. It doesn't happen. So again, the intention was better, but we just had to... I think the reason you get caught out is because you're not in natural cover, basically. And this is something I want to speak to you about, because I think this is something you are neglecting too often. So just for the sake of my benefit, what is natural cover? And why is it important?
It's like using the map. You take less damage. It's important because you don't need resources from your team.
Exactly, perfect. So if you're always somewhere near natural cover, it gives you that much more options. You can't always rely on your shield to bail you out or a cooldown to bail you out. Natural cover will be something that you can use as an advantage. So here we're okay, we're relatively close to natural cover. But then look, we step out in front of it when we could have been on this side of the cart, right? We could have been here, could have been behind it. Or we can, I wouldn't recommend pushing right up here, but this is another source of natural cover. So because we're out in the open like this Reinhardt gets access to us. Again, if we're back behind this cart or we're around here, he cannot charge us. No way. He's not gonna, the best he can do is charge closer to us, but he can't pin us, he can't displace us. So that's just a minor thing of if you had natural cover, you might have been better off. And again here, I think when you know the fight is over, you should just back out from here. Instead you hang around, you go down main, which doesn't have natural cover, and then the Zarya beams you through your gravitic flux. So let's watch how this fight plays out. So you see now the Reinhardt's pressured, he has to back. And that's how it goes. You don't make space by running into him. You make space by pressuring his back, giving him different angles so that he has to shield different places and back up. That's what Bob does. So again, there's a Hanzo who just hit us, we didn't notice. So let's just watch this again. We're going to see the hit marker on the right side. And again, remember, we're not in natural cover here again. So same issue. See how much damage we're taking from this coalescence. Just because we're not in natural cover at all, ever. We should be tighter to this side or tighter to this side. And now, there's that Hanzo we were speaking about. Arrow, there, right side. We don't notice, we don't turn. He dragons us. And that's again something that only comes with time and practice. Playing more, you'll get it. As you become more comfortable, you'll respond to these things quicker. But yeah, that Hanzo, if you'd noticed him, you would have probably not died to the dragon. So the minute you see the Roadhog and you know his hook is up, you just need to shield flick. So there, you do it. I think you do it accidentally, right? Because you're shield flicking so much, you just happen to block his hook. Now we're going to watch further on. When you stop paying attention, what ends up happening. So you've just seen the Roadhog go left. And you still throw your shield up forward to block poke damage. Your shield is 62 HP. It's gonna die. What's going on here? There's a Roadhog. Your shield is dead. Your Roadhog, there was a Roadhog here. At any point now, he could hook you. He has his hook cooldown. At any point, he could hook you. Here he comes. Again, you throw your shield out to the side. There it comes. There's the hook. So you weren't paying any attention to that key cooldown, right? Again, you're just throwing your shield out for the sake of throwing your shield out. Now, in 2 seconds, you're going to have it back, and in about 2 seconds, the enemy Roadhog is going to have a hook again. You throw your shield there, the Roadhog hooks your Zenyatta. As simple as that. In a one-tick game, one mistake, and it's over. And all it is that you're not, again, this is why I really wanted to get the whole understanding thing down with you. When you see a Roadhog, your #1 job, you want to block every one of his hooks. I'm not letting this guy land a single hook. I'm just going to throw my hook out in front of his face and block it every time. Does that make sense? Did it make sense kind of why this fight went so badly?
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's other things going on, right? I'm not going to sit here and say you're the only reason your team lost. As we can see in the kill feed, your Ana's dead. You've traded Anas, but that's bad trade for the defense. And obviously, there's stuff going on, but, you know, we have to focus on us. We're never going to get anywhere if we don't look at just ourselves. So I think what might be helpful is for us to do a little summary. And I'll pull it up on stream as well so that you have something to be able to look at, basically. Let's summarize everything we've talked about and everything that you think you've picked up today. So let's start. Firstly, we'll go hero by hero. Let's start with Roadhog. Since we started with Roadhog first. Let's start with Roadhog. What did you learn about Roadhog and your Roadhog play?
Positioning. If they're running brawl, you have to stand far back.
So I would summarize that as understand your position relative to compositions, right? Hopefully, does that make sense? Hopefully that's not overly complicated.
No, that makes sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah, good. So because obviously, you know, that's just the brawl, but you know, later you'll come up against dive and you'll have to position differently, and you'll come up against the Roadhog Zarya mirror and you'll have to position differently. So just bear in mind that you have to keep that at the forefront of your mind all the time. Okay, what else?
You can let the Rhine push in a little bit and get a hook on the back line.
That kind of goes in a little bit about the previous thing we just spoke about, understanding your position, right? But your job is to get kills and apply pressure at alternate angles is how I'd summarize that. So not to face tank against the Rhine. And we'll go on to Sigma next. What did we learn about Sigma?
Again, you don't face take the Rhine, you only block certain heroes and cooldowns. And for all three, you just play around natural cover.
Yes, that's a general thing. You know, there was some messy cooldown usage, but I think that all came from the fact that you were trying to achieve the wrong goal. So I'm going to put in brackets, don't shield flick on cooldown block key abilities. And again, it'll be on you to kind of figure out within every game, what are the key cooldowns I can block. And if you're unsure, take a second while you guys are in the spawn room to figure out what you think those are. Okay, so there's Sigma, and finally Zarya, because we're not going to look at the Reinhardt. You know, you say you're not really going to play Reinhardt, so go ahead, Zarya.
First few bubbles for energy, but then after that, you use to make space.
Yes.
You can block LOS of heals, bubbles.
Yes, that you can. And also I would say, remember to, again, off angle when you can. You know, that example I gave when they were pushing through the choke point. If you're there, you know, ready with your bubble to off angle and push, you provide another threat. So again, I think that's, because you're playing off tanks, it sounds like a 5-head thing, but you have to off angle. That's where it comes from, right? Because they're not full tanks, but also they off angle. So you will find at the moment you're sitting right behind your Reinhardt, which is fine to do sometimes, particularly as Zarya. But you know, the real strength when you really start to make the damage impact is when you're off angling and you're just poking.
Do you off angle with a double off tank comp?
Yes, you basically both off angle all the time. That's the thing. Like, the danger of playing double off tank comp is that you sit there and you think, well, one of us has to be the main tank and one of us has to be the off tank, and we'll both just like run up to this Reinhardt and we'll pressure him. No, you're gonna lose the tank battle. You have to both pressure from alternate sides. Like, just keep in many ways you want to play like your other tank isn't even there. Like, you just, and that sound, I don't want you to take that too literally, because you're gonna want to help him, you're gonna want to bubble him, and he's gonna want to help you. But you're just going to play like he's not there. You're going to go on one off angle, he's going to go on a different off angle, and you're going to give the enemy Reinhardt nothing to block. This is the reason, and I tell you from experience as a Reinhardt player, this is why it's so hard as Reinhardt to play against double off tank, is because they give you nothing to tank against. Because they're always somewhere else. They're not in your face. If everyone's in my face, I'm happy all day long as Reinhardt, because I only have to shield one angle, I hold my shield up, and I'm doing my job. But the minute that the Roadhog goes left, the Zarya goes right, I can't shield both those angles, right? I can't do that. And if the rest of their team is coming from main, I have to shield them while my backline is getting shredded by those two off tanks going at different angles. So still off angle, still off angle. Push the boundaries. try and get at their backline. Try and circumvent the Reinhardt. So what I'd like you to do now is just kind of take this, and just slowly work on it. We're going to be coaching for 3 months, so we've got a lot of time. I don't want you to get frustrated if you don't get all of this at once, and I don't want you to try and fix all of it in one day. I want you to just focus on one thing at a time. The biggest thing I want you to focus on is off angling, right? So I want you to focus on every game you get into, and every time you see the enemy comp, I want you to think, what am I stronger than them, or am I weaker than them? This is the question, and this is a tip for all tank players. Every single time you see the enemy tank lineup, you have to ask yourself, who's going to win in which situation? And when you figure that answer out, you'll figure out how you should fit into that situation. Awesome. So yeah, like at this point, just go ahead, run rampant in ranked, play with the other guys. I'm like, I hope you guys can have fun together and build like a good trio, a good camaraderie. And yeah, for the time being, I don't want you to worry at all about your SR, about whether you're winning or losing. I just want you to play every game and just like ask yourself, Super, did I play that hero right? Did I play the way I should have done? Was I thinking about all the things that SVB told me to think about? And if the answer is yes, then I'm happy. That's it. Is there anything you want to say, or?
Nothing. This was really good, and I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, good luck, Super. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. We'll do this. We'll figure out another time for this. Probably, we'll do this once a week, and we're going to do other stuff as well. So yeah, just keep in touch, and good luck in your games.